Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, here as always giving you the latest and greatest information circulating right now about crypto. What are people talking about to keep you ahead of the game? So right now we're looking at, well, a car video. We haven't done one of these in a while. In icy Texas. Whoa, it's actually melting today, which is nice. But yes, we're looking right now at a shift. Before we saw both Bitcoin and Ethereum up. Now we're actually seeing Bitcoin down about 0.5%. While I'm doing this video, it's currently at $23,410. You have Ethereum up a bit. So you actually have Ethereum still up 1%. It's sitting at $1,640 for the day. So pretty much flat, nothing too crazy. There's been some volatility, as I mentioned, because both of them were up more than this. Bitcoin at one point had actually smashed 24,000 bucks, but it was not able to sustain it. It is now trying to make a run again for that. We'll see if that does happen. You had really good news for Coinbase that pumped up the stock price somewhat, 20%. It was actually the news that we talked about yesterday in regards to this class action lawsuit that was taking place, Underwood versus Coinbase in the Southern District of New York. As that got tossed out by the judge, you saw that the stock price started pumping after hours. That's pretty good news for them. You also have news in regards to Bittrex. So there's been an email leak in regards to that cryptocurrency exchange. It was one of the cryptocurrency exchanges that blew up because they supported coins where others didn't. Some of the big crypto exchanges that were around when I first got into crypto included Bittrex, one of the more popular ones, Poloniex, Bitfinex, but Bittrex is still around and still quite adopted. But however, they've been having issues in regards to cutting costs and increasing efficiencies during this bear market, according to to Richie of Bittrex, as an email is leaking showing that certain employees, I'm hearing about 80 of them, although that's not really confirmed in the email, are going to be called in to have meetings with their directors, and unfortunately they're going to be laying off employees. Feel really bad for those employees, but at least by they would have known by now if they're getting let go by 12:30 Pacific. If they got called in, then they were unfortunately going to be having to part ways. Some of the investments for Bittrex they announced hadn't paid off as well, and so in order to stay lean and mean for the next market cycle, they had to go forward with this. Pretty sad to see it, but not surprising. I mean, it's almost like every single video I have to talk about some major company doing layoffs. It sucks for folks, and I think it increases competition among more startups and across the space. So I hope people are finding jobs. It can be quite difficult, I imagine, right now with all these layoffs, but keep your head up, people, if this is affecting you. Also, Charles Munger, so he's the vice chairman at Berkshire Hathaway. You might see their signs all over the United States, and I imagine elsewhere as well, but I haven't noticed them elsewhere. But in the United States, where also outside of so much real estate, you'll notice that it's owned by Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's big company. So Charles Munger has done an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal that was released yesterday and is actually circulating right now quite a bit. In it, he calls for a ban on crypto, just like you're seeing in China. He talks about how there are so many different cryptocurrencies created, and for the most part, they are just to enrich the certain few and at the behest of the public. And it's basically like digging a hole where there's some sort of liar at the top, quoting and making some sort of quote there from somewhere in history who had said something like that. Anyway, he's saying that China did a good job, like that communist China did the right thing by banning crypto in the way they did, which is quite ridiculous to me and so many others to hear him say. Trying to ban freedom money is ridiculous in my opinion. Another country that has been in another piece of news, and another country that's been in the news in regards to cryptocurrencies and their real hesitation with it is India. So they're actually getting some sort of major framework. It was announced in late 2021, like in December 2021, that they were getting this framework prepared, but we have yet to really see it. And that's India in regards to what they're going to do to cryptocurrency. But what specifically I meant to mention as far as the news is a central bank digital currency that's currently in a pilot program, so a test program in India, has now been added to the biggest retailer in India. So they're continuing to try to push forward the central bank digital currency. Outside of China, where you've seen similar pilot programs, I think India is leading the way when it comes to these things and getting them in the hands of people. 50,000 customers and 10,000 retailers now, merchants in India, accept the central bank digital currency during its trial period, and more are being onboarded. So we're hearing that Reliance Retail, the biggest retailer, is now onboarded. Indian Oil is another big company that's getting ready to accept it as well. There are going to be all sorts of street vendors, fruit vendors who accept it. So they're really trying to put this surveillance money into everyone's pocket. I'm sure the US is watching very closely to see how this goes exactly. Also, there are reports now about NFT. So I saw a news article. This is interesting. NFTs probably are not popping as well as you're seeing with other things in the beginning, perhaps, of this bull market. There was on OpenSea, the most popular NFT marketplace, one collection that was the most popular yesterday, the most traded. 6.5% of the volume on OpenSea came from this collection, and it does look, looking at some of the transactions, that those transactions were wash trades. Basically, an individual who's trading with himself in order to inflate the volume and the amount of trades for this and create some sort of value. However, the collection still was only selling only for like $10, despite about $650,000, I'm sorry, of volume that was wash traded, according to a report that came out in the end of 2022. It was in December 2022. The U.S. Department of Economics, the Bureau of Economics, had done some sort of paper, and they estimated about 70% of unregulated marketplaces, such as these NFT marketplaces, have wash trading. So basically 70% of the volume is wash trading, and this can dupe people into thinking something has value whereby it does not. And I'm sure it's something that's very rampant in crypto. You have spectators out there like Mike Novogratz who have said that this could be something really negative for cryptocurrency in the long term if this was to be exposed. The amount of wash trades that do exist, and it is downright fraud. Don't like to see it. I think crypto doesn't need it as much, right? Doesn't really need to have that sort of stuff, but everyone is trying to enrich themselves by making it seem like some sort of assets such as NFTs have value. Dangerous way to go about things, I would say. I haven't really heard about any major enforcement action against people who are wash trading like NFTs, but I imagine that eventually will probably come down the pipeline. So be very careful if you're trying to do things like that, would be my suggestion. What else? Oh yeah, so the Bithumb, South Korea's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, the Bithumb founder, really, he has been arrested. There was an arrest warrant in Korea put out on the 25th of January, and there are photo surfacing of him being led into the courtroom on February 1st. So yesterday, it looks like he embezzled $50 million away, basically siphoning money out of the company, and he tried to manipulate, according to the accusations, tried to manipulate stocks and different asset prices. So he has now been apprehended, and apparently another executive at the top of Bithumb has been apprehended. This doesn't mean the end for Bithumb, so I wouldn't worry too much. His brother, however, is his company is one of the biggest shareholders. They own like 35% of Bithumb, so it's not necessarily that the guy who got arrested is currently the owner of Bithumb, although Korean media does seem to say that he is the owner. It doesn't really look like it's the case, and he is saying that this is a lie, of course, and it has to be tried in court. So we'll see where that goes, but another major exchange operator getting taken down at this time. And lastly, I also wanted to talk about the new Celsius announcement. So Celsius, you might have had funds on Celsius. Certain users are going to be able to withdraw about 94% of the crypto that they had on there. Don't get too excited, unfortunately. It really only applies to certain customers who will be receiving notice by February 15th on my birthday. And that would basically be for people who had pure custody assets. So they never had it in the earn program. They never received some sort of interest from Celsius. They were pure custody assets that were parked there. and they had to have been something like $7,500, no amount greater than that in aggregate that were deposited there, or they had to have been funds that Celsius did not support at all for earning some sort of interest or on their platform and were sent, I guess, by mistake over to Celsius. So if you want to check that out for yourselves, I did put out a link to that on Twitter, and you can read the filing for yourself. It's on Streto's website for Celsius. So anyway, thank you so much everyone for this video and this quick update, for joining me here. I invite you to hit that like button if you do continue to enjoy the content, and let me know what you guys think about any of the news or what you think about car videos like this. I'm just heating up the car for the most part. I'm not even driving because of how insanely frozen my car was. Basically an ice block today. I've never seen anything like that. It was like an ice sheet when I tried to lower my window. It was literally a sheet of ice behind the window, so I just rolled the window back. Well, I didn't roll it up, it's automatic. Oh shoot, my engine is shutting off in 25 seconds, and I think it's appropriate that I shut off this video as well. So have a great day, guys, and hopefully I'll catch you tomorrow on Friday. Be well.